we love and that's who we serve. Welcome to the Vision FM universe on a Monday morning. Ooh-ah!
How dare you?
We dare.
Running out. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying, stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the topic this morning is as Joe Biden licks his ice cream, our 401K melts. that's one of our topics. So so we're on for that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to InnerVision FM. If this is your first time here, please subscribe, share, and like, because it helps our algorithms. And thank you for joining the family of InnerVision FM. And we're going to give you some. If you stick around at the end, we'll tell you how you can get yourself one of our InnerVision T-shirts. So stick around.
That'd be fat.
Okay. Okay. Now, hey, we want to thank our sponsors, which is Christian Brothers Moving Company, located in Englewood, Texas, and Phoenix. And so if you have moving needs all the way across the country there, they can take care of your needs. Also, Cornell Consultants, which is Dr. Richard Damiano, and he fixes your corneal, and they do other plastic surgery stuff with the face and eye and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. And then the Denver Foundation, they have blessed us with some funding. And also, let's see, ever since, well, this is not yet, but I saw Kroger in the news. I said, if they're going to be bought by this, or if they're going to be buying, they must have some cash on hand. So we applied. I applied for their thing, so we won't see that until maybe November 17th. So so keep a lookout on that. But you heard it first today.
Is going to be acquisitioning stores like Albertsons, Safeways, things like this, from what I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, I heard one lady say, just as long as I get the variety, she doesn't care. So hopefully with them, what is it called, combining all that stuff into one factory, they will keep that variety that people like at the different stores and stuff like that. Oh, and then also the Colorado Arts Foundation. Isn't that what they call it?
Colorado Art Foundation, something like that. Man,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's we're down with them. We thank them for their donation as well. And and just a little preview tomorrow.
Mhm.
You ever wonder what happens to a Victoria's Secret New York model after they leave the business, and what happened while they were in the business? Well, I have a cousin that was a part of the modeling business in New York. Grace Lynn will be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so don't forget to be tuned for that.
Yeah. And on Wednesday, the blind history lady will be talking about, the first blind governor in Colorado, which I didn't know there was one.
Know of, if there were other blind governors, the blind history lady hasn't run across it just yet, but do join for Wednesday, October 19th for that show. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then let's see what else. I think that is. Oh yeah, PayPal.me/InnerVisionFM. That's PayPal. Oh no, I'm sorry. PayPal.me/InnerVisionDenver. All right. And if you're hearing this stuff in the background, the trash men, they seem to come at this time in the morning, and if you sleep in, they're gonna wake you up.
Don't forget to hit paypal.me/InnerVisionDenver if you want to make any donation to help us out with. Also, don't forget to hit the main website. That's innervisionfm.com, INNER visionfm.com. You may be listening to it already right there at the website, but we're on a few different other platforms. For now, we're on YouTube, Facebook, some of the
Gotcha.
traditional mainstreams, and we're on Getter, True Social, and Rumble, and a few others.
All right. All
Speaking
right.
about PayPal, I understand that they were doing some things last week that are
Oh
kind of
yeah.
going to make content creators a little bit mad sometimes.
Hmm.
They were talking about doing $2,500 fines if they don't like what we talk about.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know if they walked that back or
Yeah,
whether they
yeah,
haven't.
yeah. They walked it back. They walked it
Did
back
they?
because they said, "Oh, a mistake, a mistake." Okay. So, oh, and let me just give you a headline of some of our topics today. 17-year-old girls, should you take advice from my 80-year-old man? We got another Creepy Joe story, and
You
then do Democrats know where electricity comes from? So, so which one? Let's see. I don't want to do the Creepy Joe one until the end, but
okay?
let's see. Electricity or 401, our 401k. Which no, well, no. I want to say the 401k for the last, but we'll do either the Creepy Joe or the electricity.
Okay.
Flip a coin.
Well, let's do this first. Um, you're in the book of James, and it's a
Ah,
really
yes.
awesome, awesome book. It starts out right at chapter 1, verse 1, uh, with greetings to the to different people, and it just starts right off. So I'll go ahead and read a little bit, and
Yeah,
then I'll let you take it from there.
yeah. I think it was like from three, starting at verse 3, and then I think 4 and 5. I think
Okay, I'll start at verse 3. Well, actually, I'll start at verse 2 because verse 3
that leads.
starts with knowing this. Yeah, so we'll
Okay,
start.
yeah.
My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Verse 4, uh, but let patience have her perfect will, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting for nothing, or wanting nothing. Sorry, I put a four in there. Wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and women, of course, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. Upbraideth is, it doesn't scold you for asking for wisdom. Well, you dummy. Gosh, you
Yeah,
dummy.
yeah,
God's
right.
good because he will provide all things to us, especially when we go to him in love, in repentance, in honoring him, giving him the glory for everything. And we say, Lord, look, I don't know about this topic. Can you help me? And he'll
Oh yeah,
definitely download that information right into your skull, man.
yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine last night about wisdom, because you know, it's kind of weird, like things that are going on, and I ask God like what's wisdom about, and then he brings people to me because I was saying like what's going on with these people? Everybody's begging for employers are begging for workers, and these people are not coming forth. And I'm
Right.
thinking, like, are they so in love with sitting in the parents' bedroom? And I know this one lady. She used to be our secretary. Her son stayed in living with her until he was 40 years old, and then finally got married, and then he bought his own house. And I think my mother, I don't know, your mom or your dad, she wanted me to live with her. And then when I was 21, she gave me she used to charge me rent, and then she gave me all that money back for my graduation. Well, I
Oh,
took that money and I flew to California, and next thing she knows, I called up and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm in California," and she says, "Oh, I thought you were downstairs." So maybe she didn't see me with the suitcase, jumping on the bus or whatever to get to the airport, the Stapleton Airport, at the time. But I had no plans of. I mean, it was thank her for feeding me for free for many years and all that kind of stuff and taking care of me. But I said I got things to do, and hanging out in Denver is not one of them. So
No, as things heat up and as we get into this economic meltdown that we're experiencing, we're going to find a lot of folks moving back
hmm,
into their friends' houses, into their parents' houses. Look, I'm 51 years old, and here I am sitting in the basement of a friend of mine's place, and I was
but that's different. I mean, that's not like your mom and dad. I mean,
yeah, no, but the bottom line is we are going to find ourselves coupling up and doubling up and being one big happy family. And really, the
yes.
main thing is to remember uh, to stay in God's peace, to have God's shalom peace, as it were,
Hmm.
where, as the troubles and as the waves crash against the pier of your life, as it were, uh, you can stay in a place of calm or a
Hmm.
comparative calm and peace, even
Yeah.
as the whole world kind of goes crazy.
Yes, yes, yes. And well, so the what I was asking for was like some information like why these things happening, and he always brings like people across my path that they have those answers, and so or he might impress upon your mind, the answers when you need wisdom. But we all
Yeah,
need wisdom. It's better to be wise than to be a foolish person spilling out foolish words, something like that.
yeah,
So,
it's kind of like you keep your mouth shut, you're a wise person. If you
yeah,
open your mouth, sometimes you can act a fool, and even fools know when to shut their mouths. But
oh
I'm,
yeah,
I'm I'm a special breed of individual. I have a hard time shutting my mouth
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. You boldly go where no man has gone before.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, well that's really cool. So let's see. Let's see. Well, let's see. Let's boldly go where no teenage girl should ever go.
All right.
Creepy Joe.
All right.
This wasn't covered on the news. It happened Friday. He was at some kind of campaign event, and Joe has this habit of he'll see you before you see him, and the way he will do this, he'll creep up on you from the back. So he saw this fine, in his mind, 17-year-old girl, and I guess this guy at this event saw this and he started taking out his phone and filming it. And so he grabs the girl by her shoulders behind, and of course you're gonna look behind to see who is this. Is this a good-looking 18-year-old boy behind me or 17-year-old boy behind me? No, it's this white-haired old 80-year-old man with his hands on my shoulder, with his face close to my face, saying, you're not allowed to date until you're 30 years old. And it's like, okay. And she's sort of like nervously laughing. And it's kind of funny that the CIA, the Secret Service guys, were trying to stop the guy from filming, saying, we don't want that on film. But this guy said, no, this is gold. I'm going to film this. and let's see, I'm thinking like whose website that you can see this on. I think which I don't know if it's on John Rush the Reason's website, or if it's on Randy Corporan, Wake Up with Randy Corporan on KNUS website. But this can be seen as is definitely on several websites. So what do you think about, okay, like if it was your grandfather, okay, I could see him giving advice. If it was your
Absolutely.
dad, what do you think
Maybe.
about Creepy Joe always going up to 5-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and everything in between, and bestowing his
wisdom.
Wisdom, yes.
It's interesting, Johnny. And first, let me make this disclaimer here for our benevolent overlords at YouTube. All the folks that we just mentioned, we're not promoting. We're not. Saying, "Oh, go over here and listen to these." These are just folks we like, and so
Yes.
we can't help but mention them. Whether we get their permission, whether we don't get their permission, we're certainly not promoting them. So don't go watch this stuff there.
Yeah. Oh, yes. All right.
But what was I saying? Oh, if it's your grandfather, your father, or your uncle, or your whatever, and you're a girl, and they come up to you and say, "Don't date till you're 30," and they got their face right close to your face. It doesn't matter. It's kind of creepy anyway. I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
so
Especially, and I wonder who daughter she was, and if it's a fundraiser event, and she was some kind of rich guy's daughter.
yep. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know when this did take place on
Friday.
at I think he was speaking at an event that dealt with what the Inflation Reduction Act will do. He was talking about as long as, well, he didn't even say it this way, but as long as you got the money to go ahead and buy a energy efficient refrigerator or coffee maker, boy, you can sure get the tax credit for that. If you want to get windows in your home replaced, or winterized or weatherized, whatever you want to call it, you could apply for tax credits. Now, of course, you've got to have the money to invest, first off, before you'll even get the tax credits. Much like the electric vehicle $7,500 tax credits, there are stipulations on all of that. So, for instance, in the vehicle industry, pardon me, in the vehicle industry, you don't necessarily get that full 7,500 back. What will happen is if you get certain things, that qualifies you for that full 7,500. So if you pay a certain amount in taxes every year, if you're a rich person, you might stand to get that 7,500 back. If you're a low income or poor person, you're not going to get, but maybe, I would say a fourth or a third, or, do your due diligence when you go to apply for these tax credits. It's similar to the refrigerators, coffee makers, weatherizing of your home, this kind of thing, because everybody rents nowadays. There are very few people that have a slice of the American dream in the form of the pie in the sky that was always sold to us. Get your home, get your land, this kind of thing. That's the way of the past. The way of the future is coffin style apartments, 400 square feet, studio apartments,
Or those tiny houses.
tiny houses,
Oh
things like
man,
where
those
you cannot apply for these tax credits and get them.
yeah, and one thing would help is if some of these add-ons to the houses were not mandatory, not put in law, like solar panels and all that. Because I wish Alex Valdez here in Denver, Colorado, put it with. He has a solar company, so it's a confliction of why he sponsored a bill to, it's 1362 if you want to know, to require that all new buildings, businesses, and houses have solar panels. And of course, he's going to definitely get paid for that. So that's one thing I'm going to do when I get into office, is reverse that, so it's not a requirement. If you choose to, you can do that. But if you don't choose to, it's not a law that you can't build a house unless you do this, have this code or that code of solar panels. So that's one way we can bring the houses out. There's all these regulations that are put on builders and houses. Yeah.
Well, you know this, for a free country to exist as a free country, regulations have to be in place for sure. But the less regulation, the better. because well, it's the same thing with taxes. Income taxes weren't even supposed to be a thing, and back in, I believe it was World War One.
1913.
Oh yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
before World War One, but they were going to basically start the income tax type stuff to help offset things. But the way that we were supposed to really get our money to fund our governing structure was through tariffs. And we got away from that. And we decided, since we had the Federal Reserve and the centralized banking system set up in 1913, well, it'd probably be more beneficial to just go ahead and tax the people so that we can borrow the money and they would pay, we the people would pay the interest back on the borrowed money that our illustrious Uncle Sam went ahead and borrowed.
Yes, yes, yeah, and something is about some kind of part in the Constitution. 16 has something to do about us really that not being constitutional to charge us income tax, and I haven't read it yet, but I keep hearing something about 16. So you might read that for yourself, and I'll look it up one of these days too, and I probably I could ask Siri, but we
You're
still lead
16th
me
Amendment
to the right place.
Constitution.
Huh?
You're talking about the 16th Amendment to the
Yeah,
United States Constitution. I'll
yeah.
I'll bring the exact verbiage tomorrow. I don't have my computer up, or else I'd pull it up right now.
All right. Yeah, and so that's so I don't know. It's a lot of creepy things. Now, people out there, for the average Joe, you might say, where does electricity come from? And I was looking through Twitter, and the big question was, do Democrats know where electricity come from?
I know the it comes from the wall.
Yeah, yeah, or it comes from like flying a kite in the air during a thunderstorm.
Yeah,
I heard that one. Then someone gave the exact, with the generators and all that kind of stuff, and the gas, and then some people just said, hey, from the light switch. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are getting these electric cars, that if they get salt water in them and other water, they can have electrical burn. Oh, and I was listening to the captain show this morning on KNUS, and he's a fireman. He's an ex-fireman at the 9/11 during that time, and he was saying that these fire stations, they want to build a fleet of fire cars ran by electricity.
right.
Well, you know that water and electricity don't mix. And these people are not thinking this through.
Well, not only that, you've got a 40% reduction in pumping power and all kinds of other stuff that goes into these electric fire trucks and this kind of thing. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I think Canada started doing some stuff with fire with regard to outfitting their
The fleet?
their fleet with different electric fire trucks, also with planes as well. And the bottom line is this, guys. It takes 6 hours to put out a lithium battery that has caught on fire. It takes gallons and gallons and gallons of water or flame retardant to put these guys out. And that's if the lithium battery does not explode. If the lithium battery explodes, well, then you got all kinds of neat new fun things that can ensue. Lots of interesting health issues from that. So, really give it some thought. I've got to mention one quick thing, Johnny.
Right.
As a blind person, I'm out on the streets less than I used to be. But back in the day, as a blind person, what I would do is I'd walk down the street and I would get to a street corner and I would listen. And I would hear the car idling. It would come up, whatever, to the intersection, or it would be, driving through the intersection I was wanting to cross. And of course, I would hear it. Now, of course, the National Federation of the Blind since 2007 has tried to legislate some laws that went onto the books to keep, what do you call them, electric vehicles to where they have some sort of noise, to where they make some sort of noise. But the bottom line is, car manufacturers and whatnot, it just doesn't always happen that way. I mean, you've got some really quiet electric vehicles. When they are stopped at a stoplight, you will not hear them. And so you can't even tell that they're there until they either move or until you hit them with your cane. Now, what I'd like to do is apply for a grant or figure out some way, and maybe you folks that are listening in the Innervision FM universe, maybe you guys can help. But what I'd like to see is this. Let's get 100 blind people together. Let's have them well trained with their canes and whatnot, and the skills in cane travel and whatnot. Let's make sure that they have 100% of their hearing, because of course I'm going deaf. So, I wouldn't be a good control for this experiment. But let's have them go ahead and do a mock-up of what happens when you go to try to cross the street with a fleet of electric vehicles on the road, theoretically. Now, I want to know what that is like for a blind person, for a deaf-blind person. I already know what that's like. My roommate has a Prius, and I do not hear that thing coming unless she is moving in that vehicle. Otherwise, that vehicle is stopped, and it's a hybrid. So sometimes the engine runs, most times it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Unless it needs to charge the battery. So I want to know. I honestly want to know what happens.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people, they might think about that because they say, "Oh, I could see." And then sometimes if you're wearing a pair of headsets, and you're not paying attention to stuff that you should be paying attention to, they have these great Apple headsets, and that can block out all sounds, and you only hear the music. And and maybe you're paying attention, maybe you're not. Maybe you're enjoying the music so much that you're not looking around. You said this clown on Denver TV, Blinky the Clown. He says, "Children, look both ways before you cross the street."
That's right.
And so we don't have that stuff anymore. So some people know that, and some people don't. So these quiet cars. I mean, great. There's some trucks I hear outside of me that I said, so noisy. Not to close the window, like I did this morning. But needs some kind of indication. And then they sell this cane that costs $70, $75, that will have a radar, and it will tell you these things. But
oh, that's fascinating.
Not all blind people are gonna want to fork out that kind of money, but maybe some will. I just went for the $22 one myself.
Check this out. Let me just throw it out there. I make $1,200 a month on Social Security disability income. It's the only income that I've got. One of the 90% or 70% or 80%. We can't even get an accurate figure as to our unemployment rate in the blind community. But anyway, I'm one of these that are unemployed. So will these canes be covered under certain programs that we have, like the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, these WeWalk canes that also have GPSs built into the handle of the cane, and they pair to your iPhone or Android phone. Will those be covered? Because they're an added expense. They're an accessory that, can be said, hey, you guys really don't need this. All you need is a $45 stick, a $45 carbon fiber cane, straight cane, a folding cane, telescoping cane. Doesn't matter. You don't need this technologically advanced piece of work that if it gets wet, it's ruined.
That's wild. Yeah. So there's some options out there. So I don't know. We'll see how this technology goes, but I have a feeling it's going to be brought to a big halt because say usually they have cars out in the parking lot, right, when they're for sale. And
Yeah.
so how about what's going to happen? Like, does when rain come down? I mean, if it's like a real big rainstorm or if there's a flood, that whole like in Florida, they're finding out like, the whole fleet is destroyed. These electrical cars and people beware if you someone wants to sell you one on I guess eBay or one of these app. It'd be better if you go directly to the car dealership to get the used car than one-on-one person because if it's somebody that you don't know, they could be like people will try to get over you. They'll sell you a lemon if they know that they know more about the car than you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So electricity, it does come from a coal and gas source, and I guess they're working on this thing that where they flush water, suck water up into this system, and then it comes down. It moves these fans, and then that generates energy. So they're working on that, but it's not here yet. And it's depending on like how many places that could be. It's just not here. So for the Twitter person for giving me the topic, thank you very much. Now let's get to the 401k, our 401k. Like when you remember, like Trump, he was really proud of that it was going up. It was getting up, and we were making money, and our 401s was looking good. Now a lot of people don't have 401ks, maybe poor people or whatever. So this makes no difference to you. But for the ones who are responsible and we're responsible, they're working and they're saying, okay, I'm going to put away some money for my retirement, or they have the money to put away for their retirement. Not all of us have that kind of money. They're looking at the 401k, and Joe Biden was Friday once again. I think it was either Saturday or Friday. Friday. He was in a Delaware ice cream place, and he was licking his ice cream, enjoying it. He's 80 years old. Why restrict yourself? And they were talking to him about inflation and economics.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, everything's fantastic. Everything's okay." But for the people who look at their 401k, they're looking at that and say, what planet is this guy coming from? It's not
Yes.
okay. It's
Oh,
not, you could you can lick your ice cream all you want, but, we're hurting out here, our 401s, and we don't know if we could even retire. And I heard one guy, he says, him and his wife had to go back to work because of the inflation reduction, so-called reduction thing that Biden is lying to everybody about, and thinking that everybody's going to believe it, but when we go to the grocery stores and all that stuff, we see that inflation reduction is not working. Right?
absolutely.
And some financial people said it's going to take us 10 to 12 years to get out of this, and that's what happened the last time that Jimmy Carter was in office, and that took 12 years, to fully get out of that. But I think it's going to take even more years because this guy is even worse than Jimmy Carter. So Jimmy Carter, he's now in second place as the worst economic president we've ever had.
So, Joe Biden, what you're saying then is our current president who resides in the White House is number one. You're
Yes.
saying Joe Biden's number one.
Yeah. So hey, so it's like, let's go, Brandon. You're number one. Hey, hey, before we leave, I want to give somebody, let people know that you see our brightly red Innervision T-shirt. Well, there's a way that you can support our show and get one of these beautiful T-shirts. For the first, I'm thinking like first 300 people that donate $35, you will get a free T-shirt, right, for your donation, and it will help support the show. You can go to paypal.me/InnervisionDenver. That's paypal.me/InnervisionDenver, or you can go to our Cash App, which is $ Innervision in lower cap, and then capital J. So that's our Cash App, and you can do that, and we'll send you one of these lovely T-shirts. We just need to know your size and your address, and we can send it to you. No, we don't need any postage or anything like that. Just a $35 donation, and if you can order if you give two $35 donations, you get two issues, and so on and so on. But thank you for your support, and you can also use the what's that called, the YouTube. Since we're monetized, you can use that uh, give us a heart or
Yeah, the super chat.
super chat as well, and we'll definitely get to your questions and answers. So anyway, that does it for the day. And remember, tomorrow is the Victoria's Secret New York model, X model, and then Wednesday we have the blind history lady about the first blind governor in Colorado. So hey. God bless you guys, and read that book of James, because we're going to go into the book of Peter coming up here real soon.
Which one? Book First Peter or Second Peter?
First Peter.
All right.
All right. So we'll see you guys.